Hey guys, it's your boy, Antonio Garisto. I am totally the host of Heat Check. Oh my god.
What are you doing? Alright. Alright guys. Alright. So hello, my name is Antonio Garisto, and I am your host, and this is the first episode of Heat Check the podcast. And yes, this is Kemal.
Hi, I'm Kemal.
And today we are going to be talking about, what we're going to be talking about is End Game. And if you haven't seen it yet, then this is going to be a spoiler alert for you. If you don't want it to be spoiled for you, then don't watch. Stop watching. If you want to, then continue watching. But this is like going to be for everybody who has seen it. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So first off, we're going to talk about what happens in Infinity War.
So if you guys didn't know, Thanos snapped his fingers. Half of the world, half of the universe disappeared.
Half the population.
Half of the population of the universe. And it was really sad, really unexpected. Some expected it, some didn't. Yeah. And so what were your thoughts on that?
Well, I thought it was kind of creative. A little bit. I thought it was like kind of creative because then you have like someone who's like trying to take out half of the population. Then you have something that you want to do to get to bring back.
Yeah, and Thanos has a great motivation too. Like it's an endless cycle of like everyone's like
there's
so
too much.
Crowded,
So crowded. Basically, like he's saying, like it's Thanos wanted to like because there's too much people and creatures all over the universe, and that he wanted to take out half the population and create a new life,
which is fine for me, but you know, it's kind of
sketchy.
Yeah.
Kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
So like now, because now Endgame's out. It's been out for a while.
Yeah.
So now
the second highest
Marvel movie?
No, the second highest movie that ever at the box office. Like Avatar has been sitting at number one for years.
Which Avatar? Like the cartoon?
No, like Avatar. The blue people.
Ah, okay. All right, so that, and then now we're gonna talk about Endgame. So like how like Endgame starts? How did it start?
It starts with Hawkeye, training.
Oh yeah, like Hawkeye when he teaches his daughter how to shoot a bow, and then like and then his wife like is telling them that it's time to eat.
Yeah.
And then like as they're talking, it like they get what they want, and sooner than later, his family disappeared basically after after the snap.
Turns into John Wick.
Yeah, basically turns into John Wick. If you guys don't know who John Wick is,
I don't even know who you are if you don't know who John Wick is. I don't even
unless you're too young then to know who John Wick is, then that's kind of reasonable. But like John Wick is a person. All right, so let's get back on track, okay?
All right, so we cut to Tony and Nebula,
in Tony and Nebula, they're like doing like that paper football.
Paper football, like
where you do that and that stuff. So all right, so they're doing that. Tony Stark, he is like now he's in the ship. It's later on after they did the paper football, and he makes a log into his helmet, like telling like how long it has been and what happened basically to him. And he got skinny. Like
that was so stressful for me.
I know, right?
Because I thought he was
like he was skinny.
Yeah,
let's just get that way.
Yeah.
So then
and then Captain Marvel swoops in and saves Tony and Nebula. They come down to Earth and
Then, basically, after they came down from Earth, Tony and Captain America, also known as Steve Rogers, Tony has some words for Steve. like
some real words,
Yeah.
like spinning bars. Like he technically just roasted Captain America to his face, and he fainted. He fainted
Yeah,
because
basically.
he took out his heart.
no, it wasn't really
Not-
attached to him. It was like, hold on, let me
Like
take
his
this
arc
off.
reactor, his take off his arc reactor, and it kind of made him.
Well, actually, no, he did have the surgery. He was still alive, but I think it was because he had lack of, like, you know how, like, water and, like, that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was lack of water that he had and the hydration that, like, made him faint. So, yeah, that happened. Then, like, apparently, this is interesting. Captain America, he's in, like, a group, like, you know how, like, recovery groups are?
Yeah.
So he's, like, in a recovery group where they are...
And I didn't notice this, but one of the directors, Joe Russo, he was one of the people in that group.
Yeah, I did not notice that either.
Yeah. So
Like I said, this is the first podcast, so...
yeah. So he, and then you know they get.
So, like, then you know who Ant-Man is? If you don't, he was introduced in Captain America Civil War.
He wasn't introduced in Captain America Civil War. He was introduced in this first movie.
Oh yeah, the Ant-Man. If you haven't seen Ant-Man, watch it, then you know who he is. But yeah, so Ant-Man, he comes out of his van because he was in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
And as he's in the quantum realm, what seemed 5 years for...
No, 5 years for like the whole.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it has seemed 5 years for everyone else. It's been 5 seconds for him.
Actually, 5 hours.
Oh yeah, 5 hours, not 5 seconds. 5 hours. So like once he comes out of the quantum realm, he has like no idea what happened.
Yeah. It was interesting. I haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp because I didn't really think it was that interesting of a movie.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot now. All right, so we're gonna talk about some things. We have some things planned that we're gonna talk about. And now we're talking. We might add some new things that might happen a lot in this podcast. So don't worry about that. So yeah, you know how like Captain Marvel. If you guys haven't seen Captain Marvel, still spoiler alert.
I haven't seen Captain Marvel either, so I mean, I don't really care about Captain Marvel.
But yeah, like if you guys know who Captain Marvel is, good for you. But yeah, so you know how like Captain Marvel was in there.
Yeah.
Honestly, in the End Game movie, I was quite disappointed because like you know how like in the end of you haven't seen it, but
I don't really care. I don't really care. Spoiler.
But at the end of the Captain Marvel movie, like there's like you know those things that like I don't remember what they are, but like it was back then. I can't think of it right now, but like it's where like if you call someone, it like shows them in like I can't think of what it's something. But yeah,
Something.
it was something, yeah. But like apparently, if you watch the end of Infinity War, like after the credits, like you know that thing that Agent Fury had in his hand.
Oh yeah.
That thing.
Yeah, that.
So like yeah, so Captain Marvel, you notice how he got it, and also you notice how Will Smith got his scar. So yeah, so at the end,
Not Will Smith.
not Will Smith, Samuel L. Jackson, Agent Fury, how he got the scar on his eye. But yeah, so you know how Captain Marvel, she got her powers and that stuff. But at the end, like the beacon stops, and then like Captain Marvel's there with them. And then she wants to know what happened to Fury. So yeah, that's what happens at the end of Captain Marvel. But like now, cause like I know you've seen it, but in End Game, I was actually cause I thought like Captain Marvel would have like more of a purpose in End Game,
really
but
it's
like she was like out of the whole thing. Like I thought like she would be like the main purpose of the whole thing.
Yeah, she didn't really do anything that much. She was only in there for like. I believe 6 minutes.
Well, at the beginning,
16 minutes.
Or she was in there for a couple minutes, basically.
She doesn't come in until the third act.
Yeah, basically, like when they, yeah. So like then, so as I was saying, Ant-Man, he comes back and he goes to the Avengers Tower. They think and he tells them about how to go back in time, basically like Back to the Future. You know how that stuff works.
But it's kind of different this time around because
Tony,
if you guys are
if you are Marvel fans and you know the whole timeline about like the first Marvel movie into now, then you know what's been going on in all of the Avengers movies.
But if you're not a Marvel fan and
or if you just like watched it a couple times,
you know what? If you guys are time travel fans, you're probably gonna be mad because like
this kind of bumps it out.
It kind of just makes everything time travel really different from
like, you know, like how if you have ever seen Back to the Future, if you haven't, watch it because it's really good. But like, you know, like Back to the Future, that if you make like one ripple in time, like if you do one thing or you talk to your past self, then like if you do that, then it makes a whole different reality of time. So basically, that's what they're basing their story on, about like going back in time. And
that was technically one of my favorite parts of the movie because like they made fun of themselves.
True, yeah. But like then, because they only know one person that can do that kind of stuff is Tony Stark. And because Tony Stark, if you've seen what happened in the first Avengers movie, then you know that he was not. If you've seen this Avengers movie, he wasn't willing to do it at all. So that happened.
So
don't mind that. Just there are some little kids in here.
Yes. And also, if you guys didn't know, he wanted a kid in Infinity War.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. He wanted a kid, and apparently that came true. They have a daughter.
Morgan Stark.
Yeah, Morgan Stark. And then they do that, and then like Tony Stark, because after they left, they went to go see Bruce Banner. But what I got surprised was that like how Bruce Banner and like the Hulk, they like combine, and like now they're like, what is it now?
I do not know.
It's Banner Hulk. That's what we're gonna call him here, Banner Hulk, because like he has the brute strength of the Hulk and the mind of Bruce Banner.
But he has the strength of the Hulk.
Yeah, that's what I just said. But yeah, all right. So yeah, that happened.
Big spoiler: Fortnite's in this movie. So
oh yeah, there is. Yeah.
I can't believe I'm saying that because I do not like Fortnite. I'm sorry. I just think that's overrated. But I just think that. But
let's get back on track. So so basically, they asked Bruce Banner about doing the thing that they wanted to do, about going into the quantum realm and doing a bunch and going back in time. But like with Bruce Banner, he said, although he has great brains, but he's not as smart as Tony Stark. That's what basically he's said in that scene. That he's not bright and smart as Tony Stark, but he is kind of smart. He's one of the smartest in the Avengers, basically.
Yeah.
But Tony Stark is the overall smartest out of all of them. Something went on. Sorry. And then so Tony Stark, after they left, he is like doing trying to do simulations of what would happen if they actually did what they were saying. And well, we can continue going. But so later on. Way later. I like the new Audis they put in there. The new Audis, those were really like the electric ones. They were they were nice.
Yeah, they look sexy. But I just think that
But like later on, Tony Stark, he comes back to the Avengers. He does.
Can we just talk about Thor?
Oh yeah, Thor. He got fat. He got fat. They actually went to what was this?
I guess it was Sweden?
Scotland or Sweden or something.
Scotland or Sweden. And Valkyrie is there.
Yeah, and then Thor, he's only there. He is he's punishing himself because he didn't stop Thanos from snapping his fingers.
And it's really interesting. It's really interesting for me. People are saying that they they hate that Marvel is fat shaming people, but I don't think this is.
I don't think it was, because like it basically what I thought of it was, and I don't like you said, I don't think it is fat shaming people. But like I think they did it was because like it shows like how some people will they will. I can't think of it.
How they like they lost.
How they punish themselves. That basically it shows like how some people will punish themselves. Like they will do different things. So with Thor, he punishing himself with
eating pizza and playing
Fortnite. He got lazy.
Yeah.
And
you can't say the T word, Thanos, because like if you say that something
you can't say anything that involves Thanos with Thor, because like it's because he like I said, he didn't stop Thanos from snapping his fingers, and so it's been bumming him out since then. And that happened.
Meek, Korg, they're roommates. So.
Yeah. And then they did get Thor to go with them, but they had to give something with it. So as that goes on, and so that's happened. All right, so you can't think of anything. All right, so they do get Tony to come back. Tony goes back. He helps them. Well, they do. Banner, he does try and do the quantum realm thing.
They also reference Hot Tub Time Machine, Back to the Future.
Yeah. Well, the Back to the Future was the first thing they mentioned.
Yeah,
because
and then they just like murder Thanos, like, and you know.
But yeah, all right. So they did a bunch of references in that. But like, what I was happy about. Come on. All right, so they. Banner, he tries to help them. They bring him back, but they bring Ant-Man back, but like in different. They bring him back so many times that like he goes from teen to baby to old man, then back to himself. It was funny a little bit.
It kind of like threw me off.
Yeah, me too. But like then like Tony Stark comes back and he basically helps them do the whole thing and everything. So they go back in time, and which I was quite surprised about. But like
let's talk about the quantum suits.
Those are actually quite nice.
Yeah.
The person who designed the suits for them, they did a really good job at it.
The first glance I looked at
when I first saw them, I thought it was like, you know how like people fan art some things, it's just like people made that stuff up, like they made the suits up and that stuff. That's what I thought about it, and I'm like, I don't think that's the real suits until I saw the trailer of it. And then
actually, it was mentioned in Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's what I only watched some clips of it, and that was mentioned. So.
But so basically they go back in time. Tony Stark, and they split up into
two groups.
No. They split up into two groups into New York. One to have the Space Stone, and one to get the Time Stone. And Hawkeye and Black Widow, they go and search for the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
And Thor and Rocket, they go in search for the
Reality Stone.
Yeah, the Reality Stone.
And what else? War Machine and
Nebula, they go for the Power Stone.
I think that's the Power Stone.
Yeah, I think it was the Power Stone. Yeah, I think it was the Power Stone. And they get those. It was the time, space, power, reality.
What else?
Reality, power. There's one more.
I forgot.
And the Mind Stone. And the Mind Stone. Yeah, that one too.
The Mind Stone.
And also, if I remember correctly, the Mind Stone was in the Tesseract, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they went to get all those in So because they Tony Stark and Captain America was able to get the scepter, but Tony Stark, because of the Hulk, lost the Tesseract, so they had to go further back in time to where, if you've seen Ant-Man, the first Ant-Man was actually there. And if you are a Marvel fan, you know who that is.
I want to talk about
and also as they're further back in time, Tony actually visits his father. Like, he talks to his father.
And he did give away his full name.
Yeah,
well, he was almost there.
Yeah,
he was almost
there.
there.
I thought it was quite emotional for Tony, because it's his father, and his father died before, way after, and then
in the 90s, I believe.
Yeah, something like that. But it's that first actually ever time that he actually gets to talk to his father, and which is honestly, I thought it was emotional for him, which it actually proved that it was. So yeah.
What else?
They get the Tesseract. No, not the Tesseract. The space. The cube.
The Tesseract was in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
So
the Tesseract was
right.
The Tesseract. Then they went to go and get this. Tony got the Tesseract, and wow, that's a tongue twister. Tony Tesseract. Tony got the Tesseract. All right, so that happened, and Steve, Captain America, he got the more of the things they needed to go back to their time.
Yes.
But there was then the Hulk Banner. That's the name for it. That's what we're gonna call him. Hulk Banner. He got the time stone from the Great One.
The ancient one.
Yeah, not the Great One, the ancient one. And they talked about all that, and she basically told him that if they take the stones and they go to their time and do that, they would have to come back, go do the whole thing again, and go back into their time.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no. They would, once they take it and put it back and go into basically our time, if we're talking about us, but their time, they would have to go back. They would have to take the stones and bring back to where they were recently.
And then back to Nebula and War Machine. They go to basically the iconic scene of the first Guardians of the Galaxy, where Star-Lord. They see Star-Lord, and War Machine just said that he was an idiot.
Yeah, he basically. They get the Power Stone.
Yeah, they get Power Stone.
But Nebula gets captured.
And Thanos knows where
everyone else is. But apparently, in order to have someone to snap their fingers, snap their fingers. Well, actually, no. Let's go back before they get all the stones. Yeah. So remember how I said that Black Widow and Hawkeye, they went to go get the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
So if you've seen Infinity War, the Soul Stone, there's a person that had the whole thing. Red Skull. Red Skull. So Red Skull, he was basically the guardian or something like that.
The guardian of the
Soul Stone, and so basically he said that in order to get the Soul Stone, you have to sacrifice a life for basically a life for a life. But in this case, a life for the stone.
Hawkeye and
Black Widow, they both fight each other, trying to see who will die.
And not because they don't, not because.
Well, actually, no, because they're actually close friends, and because they want to help their time period come back. In order to do that, one has to sacrifice himself to get the Soul Stone, in in return, Black Widow stops Hawkeye, and that happens. And then
Black Widow dies,
and then
sadly,
yes. And then what you call it?
Oh wait, hold up. We forgot about Hawkeye's introduction.
Oh yeah, no, we already talked about that.
We already talked
Yeah,
about
like-
how he's
like
John
how.
Wick, but we haven't talked about how.
Oh yeah, he basically goes and like takes out a lot of bad guys, basically.
Yeah, and this cool one-take shot where like zooms in every direction.
Well, I
I
mean
just
like
love
that goes all the way around.
Yeah,
And then where he
I-
goes.
Yeah, that was cool. That was really cool. But anyway, back to the time travel.
Alright, so basically when they got the soul stone, they I don't get it. The like how like you go into a different reality
Yeah.
and to get the soul stone, because like basically like what I saw, like you're basically in water. You wake up in water and in your hand is the soul stone.
I wake up big.
But then
I'm waking up in water. Like
I would be wondering like how did I get here? But like,
Yeah,
but that's just us.
And
Okay.
what do you think that the Black Widow and Gamora's death were corny?
No, actually, no. If you looked at it,
I thought they
no.
were
Listen. If you look at it, if you go and you look at the way Gamora lay dead at the bottom, and then if you look at the way Black Widow also looked at the bottom, they are in the exact same position.
But
That's what I'm saying. They basically just copied the same death and just like put a different person in that position. Which I don't think a lot of people caught that, but who knows?
Maybe they did.
Yeah.
And then they got.
So they got all the stones and they're back in the reality.
But then Nebula.
Yeah, like I said, Nebula got captured. So then, what's her the old Nebula interrogates the new Nebula, and then Gamora and all that stuff. So basically, the old Nebula is basically showing her faithfulness to the Avenger, to Thanos, and so she's gonna basically go undercover. So they all go back to their time period, which like one thing they should have thought of, like if they like as a question they should do, like they should ask a question to every single one about like something like in the past they know about, like but they don't reveal the question, but like they ask a question about the past that they know the real person would know. So like if there is if someone did get captured and they come back and the person that captured them does come back, then you know that they have been captured. Alright, I'll be right back.
Alright, so what else? Alright, so what else? Oh yeah, so Nebula.
So they Iron Man. So he took some of his tech and they made a new Infinity Gauntlet,
which looks sick.
Right?
It looks sick.
But
That
yeah,
red looks glossy.
I know, right?
So
But like then they all started arguing about like, well, before that they were talking about like how Black Widow died, and then Thor is like acting like she's not dead, and then he's like, then he gets all mad. He's like, why are you guys acting like she's dead? And like if you think about it, technically she is dead. Really?
Yeah.
And so like, and Thor can't get his head around that, so yeah. And so yeah, that happens. And so then now they get the gauntlet, they have all the stones in there, they start arguing about who's gonna be taking it, who's gonna be the sacrifice and snapping their fingers. Which in result, Thor is gonna say it wants to do it, but it would kill Thor basically. So Banner does it.
Banner Hulk.
Hulk Banner. So, but like his whole, what was it? His right arm?
I guess
I think
both of his arms.
No, it was
both of his
his
veins.
right arm. His right arm was all messed
All
up,
to
and
his
all to his
veins.
neck. Like it was all messed up. And
It happens to this.
it happened to Thanos in the beginning, because he does it twice. Once he snapped his fingers, he goes into the garden. We don't know what that place is. Well, I don't remember what it's called. We do know what it is, but I don't remember what it's called.
It's a farm, I believe.
Yeah, basically, and he does it again, but to destroy all the Infinity Stones. So like the gauntlet is just the gauntlet, and just his arm. Oh my gosh, his arm was like skinny.
And then he snapped his fingers. Everything was fine.
No, the Hulk. Now we go back to where we are now. The Hulk, he snaps his fingers. They're wondering if it actually works. And then Ant-Man, he looks out the window and then he sees birds.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
And then
Oh yeah. So like we forgot to tell you. So remember how we talked about like how Nebula got captured? So the old Nebula goes back in time, goes to the future with the other Avengers.
Yes.
And as she's there, they lock the whole place down for Hulk Banner to snap his fingers. But Nebula, she brings the ship that is from her time period and brings it into our time, into their time period now.
So and then everyone just like.
So as what's his name? Hulk Banner, he snaps his fingers. Everybody comes back, but Thanos is there. But remember how we said that like Ant-Man looks out the window and he sees the birds chirping. So once he sees the birds chirping, Thanos just shoots missiles and it destroys. It plummets the whole Avengers tower.
I just saw how that was hilarious.
I know, but like it just.
It was just like this really calm music, and then it just stops when it explodes.
Yeah.
It's just so
but then
hilarious.
then all that happens, and so
thankfully,
so Hawkeye is the only guy. Everybody is split up because of the blast. Everybody's in different places. So it's Thor. It's Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America that are the three that are. I think they were outside.
Yeah.
But like the Hulk, it's Hulk, Rocket, and War Machine that were like under the building and like that's under the rubble, and like Hulk is trying to like
Rocket.
hold it.
Yeah, we talked about Rocket.
Oh yeah, Rocket. What happened? Oh yeah. So like, remember how we said like they all went into different time periods? So Hulk and Thor, they go into the time period where this is how long is this big guy? But this is a long podcast. But so yeah, they went through all the time, and they go to the
2014.
Yeah, 2014 where the Thor,
the Dark World.
Yeah, the Dark World. If you see
I hate that movie.
So do I. They get the reality stone that was actually in a liquid.
I just think that was tempting.
But yeah, they get they get the reality stone, which in that time period was actually a liquid. So yeah, that happens. Rocket, he's basically a calm down guy now. It's not like the other movies. So yeah. So then after that,
then we get to the best third act ever.
What?
The best third act ever. You know the battle. The
best
battle ever.
So yeah, all right. So you know how like after, let's talk about before the battle. All right. So now we're back where the Avengers. 3 minutes need to be done. Okay. So hold on.
So let's do this quickly.
All right. So the Avengers. So let's do this. Wrap it up. All right. So Avengers, Rocket, Ant-Man, and War Machine, and the Hulk. They're saved. Hawkeye gets the gauntlet to the wrong. Who was it?
I'm not sure.
The cyborg woman. We've just talked about her before. Nebula. So he gives it to the wrong Nebula. Their Nebula shoots the old Nebula, and that happens. And so
she would have been dead.
Technically, yes, I think she is dead. But so yeah, that happened, and now Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America, they fight Thanos, the three of them. Then Captain America wields Thor's hammer. Which was actually for a short time. I was actually quite disappointed about that.
Yeah.
But then Thanos destroys Captain America's shield into half.
And then everyone comes back. Everyone comes back from Infinity War.
Thanos, he gets all of his army ready, and then Then everybody comes back. Yeah, as Kemal said, everybody comes back, and so that happens. Everybody comes back. There's big war. Thanos is trying to get to the gauntlet. They're basically playing keep away with the gauntlet, and then like Thanos, he gets the gauntlet as what he thinks, but like Tony, he asked Doctor Strange about like that 1% that they would succeed at beating Thanos.
And he just sacrifices himself.
No. Listen. Wait, so Thanos. Not Thanos. Doctor Strange. He says, if I tell you, it wouldn't happen. So they. So Thanos gets the gauntlet, but it doesn't have any of the Infinity Stones. It went into Tony Stark has the Infinity Stones, in which and then he looks as the stones are going into his suit. Doctor Strange looks at Tony and basically does the one, and then like telling him, basically saying that was the one ending that they had to do to beat Thanos, and which was actually so he snapped his fingers. All of Thanos' army is destroyed, and Thanos disappears. But in the cost of Tony Stark snapping his fingers, he dies basically, and which was actually quite emotional for a lot of people in the movie theaters that saw it. It was like, I didn't think it was emotional because I kind of saw it happening. So and basically this is how we're gonna wrap up.
And then we get to a funeral.
Steve
Rogers retires.
Alright, so we go to the funeral, and basically Steve Rogers, he's the one that brings them all back in time, but like they try to bring him 5 seconds back, but he doesn't come back. He actually stays and does what he wanted to do and does the dance with the love of his life. And then he comes at the bench where he's old, and he gives what's his name? Falcon his shield, and that's it, and that's the end of that movie.
Yeah.
All right,
what a ride, man.
So this has been Heat Check, the podcast, and this is the first ever episode. And I would like to thank Kemal Brockman for coming on.
Thank you, man. Yeah.
And this is it.
All right. See you in episode 2.
Or will we?